Why are the richest and most powerful men in America so obsessed with Taylor Swift? This morning we saw Donald Trump posting how she's no longer hot. We saw Musk's post a few months ago an offer to impregnate her on Twitter. And if this is how often they're posting about her publicly, then I can only imagine how much she lives rent-free in their heads. So let's talk about the psychology behind why Taylor is so triggering to the most powerful men in the world, and why even the President of the United States keeps bringing her into conversations that she never asked to be a part of. And it comes down to power, and the shifting tides of power that Taylor represents. She holds a kind of power that they can't understand, and worse, a power that they can't control. She's got a level of wealth that they thought was only reserved for people like them. She holds a cultural relevance that they'll never touch, and she's a woman, and she's half their age, and that makes them deeply uncomfortable. So what do? They mock. They try to minimize her into nothing but a stupid girl whose only purpose is to look hot and have babies. And this is the fragile ego of wealthy, high-status men. So I think there's 3 ways that she triggers these men. Number 1, she has a self-made empire just like they do. So Taylor Swift isn't just a pop star. She's a billion-dollar brand. She controls her masters, her tours, her public image, and she's built a successful, profitable business with her image at the center of the brand, and she did it all from the ground up. And for men like Musk and Trump, who pride themselves on their story of self-made empires in business, with their faces at the center of the brand, Taylor represents a feminine version of the same story. But rather than celebrate this or relate to it, they have cognitive dissonance because they thought that they were special, and they have done things that no one else can do. And this little blonde girl has done the same thing, wearing high heels and singing breakup songs. And if she can do this too, then are they really that special? And that is a bruise to the male ego. Next, she's adored in a way that they'll never be. Taylor has a cultural power that billionaires can't buy. Her fans don't respect her for her music or her money. They love the person, and they care about the human being. They follow her in adoration and because they relate to her. And that's a different kind of influence. Musk has followers, Trump has voters, but Taylor has Swifties. And they're a bit jealous because their status and money gets them absolutely everything, except for that can't be bought. And you cannot purchase the genuine care or love of another person. And if they can't control the public perception of her, then how will they control the power that she wields? Well, they can't. Men like Trump and Musk are used to control based on transactional loyalty. They offer something of value in exchange for the loyalty of their followers. Status, jobs, money, spectacle, and in return, people will follow. It's a power that only works as long as they stay big and you stay small. And it relies on hierarchy and often fear. Like Trump says, you're fired. And very often, rather than making themselves bigger by being better, they'll try to make you smaller instead to maintain that power difference. So they mock her and try to make her look small, because in their world of power dynamics, this would take her power away. But in the end, they're just jealous of the type of power that she has. And number 3, gender schema and the unruly woman. And this is where gender psychology comes in. And of course, gender difference is a huge part of this. Society has a long history of rewarding women only when they stay within certain roles. Be likable, be pretty, be quiet. Women are there to be seen, obviously looking hot and not heard, and definitely not with opinions on important issues. And Taylor Swift is some of these things, but not all of them. She is likable and pretty and fairly quiet, but she's also a force to be reckoned with, and an intelligent, successful businesswoman. She refuses to make herself small, and that makes her what psychologists call an unruly woman. Not because she's breaking laws, but because she's breaking expectations and no one can stop her. She also can't be easily described with typical derogatory terms that men use for women. She's not a prude because she's sexy, but she's not a slut because she's got class. And it's very hard to criticize her using pejorative language because she's a paradox of sorts. So when men like Trump say she's not hot anymore, they're not critiquing her beauty, they're trying to shrink her back into a role that they can understand. Maybe the strangest part of all of this is how much time these men spend talking about a girl who sings pop songs for a living. But this isn't about Taylor. It's about a deeper shift in who gets to hold the power and how. We've been taught that power looks like a man in a suit shouting in a boardroom, that it's aggressive, masculine, competitive, winner takes all, the loudest voice, the biggest bank account, the broadest shoulders. But she doesn't command through fear. She doesn't even demand loyalty, really. She just earns it. Her influence is soft, emotional, indirect. Her fans follow her because they want to. And this is destabilizing for people who built their identities on old rules. Because if power can be soft, If powerful people are wearing glitter and writing pop songs, then their model of power starts to look outdated and they start to look outdated. And that's why they lash out. Not because she's a threat to their wealth, not because she's going to take their job, because her success is symbolic. It says the world's changing, and it challenges the framework that they've spent their entire lives using to make themselves feel important. And when the power dynamic shifts, and when the half of the population that you've spent your life trying to suppress starts claiming its own power, sometimes the loudest thing you can do is tweet. So what do we do with all of this? What's the takeaway for us in our everyday lives? Because we're all playing this game in smaller ways every day. We don't live in the world of billionaires and presidents, but, this does impact us every single day. I would love to give a speech about female empowerment and rising up and taking up space and being unapologetic. But no. I think the lesson is this. Sometimes things will feel like they're about you, but they're not. Trump is talking shit about Taylor, but it's not about her at all. Same for Musk. Their behavior is about their own fears, their own fragile egos, and their own sexist beliefs. And we've all been there, right? At work, relationships, in friendships, someone lashes out, makes a comment or throws a jab, and you sit there thinking, what did I do? But the truth is, it's not always about you, and often it's not worth your time or energy to bother clocking it. Not everything needs a reaction. You don't need to change what you're doing. Let them talk. Let them tweet, let them spiral, and you just carry on, unbothered. You're focused on your own life. Thanks for listening. See you in the next one.
I'm trying to be as educated as possible on how to respect people, on how to deprogram the misogyny in my own brain. Toss it out, reject it, and resist it. Like, there is no such thing as a slut. There is no such thing as a bitch. There is no such thing as someone who's bossy. There's just a boss. We don't want to be condemned for being multifaceted. Sorry, that was a real soapbox.
No, oh
Why did I say sorry? You're just...
It's because we're trained to say sorry.
Yeah, we legitimately are. We're like, sorry, was I loud in my own house that I bought with the songs that I wrote about my own life?